Is your dumbass about to go raid Area 51? Are you about to go get shot? You're looking for the alien technology and you're wondering where the fuck is it? Well, it's right here. It's the infected mushroom. I'm going to show you what this waves plugin can do because everybody has waves. Wink, wink. All right, let's go.
Oh no. Buzz looking alien! Where? Ah!
All right, so we're looking at the infected mushroom pusher. This is a really dope plugin. This is like mastering, but you can really use it for a lot of things. Every mastering tool you can use for mixing, I feel like most of the time. It may not be the best for your processing, but it could do the thing. So the mushroom pusher, I have it up right here as you can see. And it has a lot of knobs. It looks like an alien spaceship a little bit. And that's why we're gonna get down to it, and I'm going to show you what alien tech could do for your mix. So at the heart of it, you have this magic button. This is an exciter. I'm just going to really just play it and show you, tune in, listen, use your ears, and then we'll talk about it. All right, so that's just some of the things that it has going on. If you put it together, obviously the thing is labeled pretty well, but I'll kind of demystify what's going on here a little bit. So first up, Magic, as you can tell, it's doing a lot of things, and I'm not gonna I don't know exactly, I didn't code this plugin, but it's definitely an exciter. It's kind of messing with the track in many forms, and I believe it's doing a lot of manipulation of the transients. Speaking of transients, you have this dynamic punch here. The dynamic punch, it's a transient exciter. It's like what you get from SPL. You know what I mean? So you're really making things more punchy in bringing out those transients, which is cool to do on a master because, if you go into a limiter like I am, if you can see Ozone 8 is up, you're going to lose a lot of transients, so you might want to add more before you lose a bunch. The next thing you have here is the focus. The focus is also messing with the transients, but I also hear, some sort of mid-side action going where you're pushing the mids forward the more you pull the focus up. So that's kind of the middle section. From there, obviously, you have the push. You saw me crank that. It's definitely giving you distortion. And so the push I use very gently. If you want to bring a little bit of distortion and make your song a little more punk rock, you have the punk rock button right there. The next thing, you have this low frequency button right here, this knob, this slider. If you click on it, you can see there's a bunch of different keys in here. What this is doing is actually spectral and enhancing the low end. And so if you put in the key of your track or your lowest note of your bass, your sub, your 808, whatever you got going on down there, you can really get that tuned precisely to the frequency that you're trying to mess with. The next thing is the body. The body, you know what I mean, is basically the mid-range, the mud. If you saw me crank it, it's putting a lot of mud into the track, and sometimes you may have a track that needs more of that mid-range, that low mid, high mid. And this thing is great for kind of bringing back if you cut too much. And I hear that a lot out of you rap producers. You're cutting way too much mid-range. So if you need to redial your mid-range, that is the knob right there. Lastly, the last two, which is the high end right here. It's kind of transient, exciting your high end is what it sounds like to me. It's not just, you know, taking EQ and shelving the crap out of the high end. It's I'm sure it's doing spectral editing of your high end and kind of bringing out the details. After that, you have the stereo image right there, which is obviously a stereo imager, kind of like a S1, and it's you know, doing, you know, some mid-side, some spread, some doubling, and it's making your track wider. So the things that I'm really using out of here are the high end, the low end, the magic, focus, and the dynamic punch, and the stereo image. I'm not really distorting my tracks. I'm not really going for the push knob. I'm not really going too crazy on the body unless I need more body. I would usually just skip that overall. If you can see, there's little you know, in and outs on each section, so you can save some processing. But I'm touching the body button here by 0.5, you know, just giving a little bit, and then, you know, really just using the rest of the plugin. So the stereo image, I know a lot of people who may not be in a good listening position may want to go crank the stereo image knob like crazy. You got to be really careful with this. I'm only using it at 4, so you know, I'm only doing it slightly, and just like anything, I like to do stereo width in stages. So you know, Brad covered the BX Digital here. I'm using the BX Digital to do some stereo width, if you can see up here too. So yeah, I'm doing stereo width here. And then, you know, lastly, I would say this high end, use very carefully. You can really do some crazy stuff. This plugin is really good for EDM, or if you're just doing any sort of music where you needed something really wide and really in your face. So, you know what I mean? EDM typically has a certain sound to it with the mixing. This is the EDM mix processor, I would say, if you're going for your master bus. You got to have this one. But with all this talking done, I'm just going to press play and we're going to get some mastering. All right, okay, so that is the Infected Mushroom Pusher, and you gotta go cop it if you don't have it, because what you can do with this is really shape the shit out of your tracks. Go cop, you already know where to find me, follow, subscribe, deuces.